Welcome. Let's take a look at our top story. Just a day after the United States blamed the WHO for siding with China, the world's most powerful body, the United Nations Security Council, is expected to meet today to discuss the coronavirus pandemic. The decision comes after 9 council members wrote to the UNSC presidency requesting an immediate meeting. Now keep this in mind, that this meet comes after 9 non-permanent members called for it. Neither the United States, France or the UK called for the meeting. Council President for the month of April, the Dominican Republic, has formally scheduled a closed video teleconferencing meeting. The meet will be regarding the impact of COVID-19 on the issues that fall under the UNSC mandate. But why is this meeting coming after almost 3 months? Now, this is because Beijing is no longer calling the shots. When Beijing was the council president last month, they kept blocking the initiative. Beijing even claimed that the pandemic was not a peace and security issue. Beyond the optics of a meeting, the world community will be hoping for a UNSC resolution on the pandemic. Now, there are 2 drafts currently in circulation, one among the permanent members and another among the non-permanent states. The Security Council could take up any of the 2. UNSC sources have told WION that Tunisia has produced the first draft of a resolution, which will be negotiated initially among the elected members of the Council. Subsequently, a French-led draft resolution will also be discussed exclusively among the permanent 5. The most important one is the one by Estonia. The resolution highlights the growing concerns about the unprecedented extent of the coronavirus outbreak. It calls for full transparency over the pandemic. Now remember, this proposal was rejected by China last month. A council resolution is binding on all UN member states and would help mobilize resources on a war footing. US media reports claim that Washington insists that the resolution should mention that the virus emerged in China's Wuhan. So what are the possible outcomes? Now, the outcome of today's UNSC meet depends on the proposals and how China and its ally Russia exercise their veto powers. There are 2 possible scenarios. The first one is that the resolution fails. This could happen if China, Russia, or both of them vote against it. It could also fail if it gets less than 9 votes in the 15-member council. The second scenario is that the resolution passes. Now, this works if all permanent members and 4 other members vote for the resolution. Now, it could also work if both China or Russia abstain from voting. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres will also be briefing the Council on the pandemic. Guterres is likely to raise his demand for a ceasefire in all conflict zones on account of the global health emergency. Now, WION's principal diplomatic correspondent, Siddhant Civil, is joining us for more on this. Good evening to you, Siddhant. Now, the UN Security Council, the world's most powerful body, finally meeting today to discuss the coronavirus. What can we expect?
Well, it is approximately 8:30 a.m. in New York, and the meeting happens at 3 p.m., which is 12:30 a.m. midnight time here in India, and the focus of the meet will be on what should be the possible action of the United Nations Security Council. But it's a classic case of too little, too late. We know it has almost been months now since the pandemic broke in China and spread across the world, and UN and the United Nations Security Council was found missing. We know that there were attempts to raise the matter last month by several countries, including Estonia, but they were thwarted, especially by China and, of course, Russia. But China had its own motives. The motives were the fact that China is keen that there is no politicization of the matter. That is what it fears, because there are questions being asked that China was hiding information crucial to make sure that the spread could have been halted. But China was found missing in that, and we have seen number of countries, including UK, criticizing publicly about the Chinese attempts to hide information. So that remains the key focus. Of course, we know that the United Nations Secretary General will be briefing the entire council regarding the measures taken and also will talk about the global ceasefire which he has been talking about. Last month he had issued a call for a global ceasefire to make sure that the pandemic measures can be taken in several war-torn countries, whether Syria or Yemen. And in last 1 hour we know that Saudi-led coalition in Yemen have announced that they will be going for a ceasefire in Yemen so that the measures against pandemic can be taken. But by and large, even as UN was found missing, we know that G20 emerged in its leadership role primarily because the Indian leadership had spoken to various G20 counterparts regarding it, and then of course an action plan is being readied, and clearly questions are being raised regarding United Nations as a model, as an order, world order which is based in 1940s and is not ready to deal with the problems of 2020.
Siddhan, thank you very much for that report. That's our principal diplomatic correspondent coming to us live for all the latest on the upcoming UNSC.